is the captain, the consummate professional, leading by example, the unquestioned voice in the clubhouse. He is the entertainer, playing with an endless love for the game, dodging contact with his head, unable to control his legs, always having fun with teammates, often engaging in friendly conversation with rivals. He is a legend, universally respected around the major leagues. On his way toward Cooperstown, he personifies all that is great about our national pastime. He is Adrian Beltré.
Rangers baseball is presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. A little more overcast skies again tonight. Drizzly most of the day today, but ready for baseball. Field's in good shape. Mariners and Rangers. Middle game in this three-game series here at Globe Life Park. Welcome in again, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nitkowski. The Rangers last night, a rain-shortened 8-3 win over Seattle. Now have a winning record against the Mariners this year. We tease Adrian Beltré as we open the broadcast. We don't know. We don't know exactly what decision he's going to make when the season is over. We do know this much, though, CJ. It has been an unbelievable career to this point.
It really has been incredible, and Ranger fans hoping that they are not seeing the last of Adrian Beltré in this final homestand in 2018. But you take a look at the career accolades, and they are extremely impressive. We talk about him being a first ballot Hall of Famer when you're 16th all-time in hits. That'll seal the deal. 30th in home runs, and those over 1,700 RBIs. That is 22nd all-time. But what's been amazing with Adrian Beltré is what he has done lately at the age of 39 here in the month of September, driving the ball out of the ballpark. 7 home runs for Adrian. That is second best in the American League. And it's not just that he's cheating to get to a fastball. He is driving the ball out of the ballpark. He is doing it to all fields. And this is the same Adrian Beltré that we are so used to seeing.
Yeah, he has been great lately, finishing strong. And another guy who's had another really good year, putting up some pretty big numbers, is Joey Gallo. And one of the things in particular lately that has shown off for him has been that ability against left-handed pitching. And
that's really important for Joey. We talk about his game a lot and what he brings to the table offensively, but putting together the good at-bats against left-handed pitching is really important. And we saw it last night, the big home run against the lefty, certainly not the only one. 15 home runs for Joey Gallo against left-handed pitchers. Well, that leads all of Major League Baseball for left-handed hitters, and by a lot. To be in second place in that category, you only have 10. So for Joey Gallo, he's doing some real damage against left-handed pitching. He's been doing it all year. Very good sign for the big left-hander.
Well, Rangers fans who have been paying attention, they know well that Mike Minor has been great lately and finishing strong. We're going to put a new spin on Mike Minor's end of the season when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. Shiner Light Blonde, it's light done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. back here at Globe Life Park and looking outside across the street at Texas Live. The folks heading in, maybe heading over after getting ready for tonight's ball game. Lots of activity over there lately, and of course, plenty of sports on TV. Maybe even a Rangers game or two. Time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight, talking about Mike Minor, and it has been a really great finish for him. 6-1 in his last 8 starts, but in particular, spinning the ball a little bit more aggressive.
Well, he's throwing the ball really well, and so we start to dig in and we look for some signs and say, what has Mike Minor been doing well down the stretch here? Well, the last 8 starts, the slider has been pretty special. Now, it's been good all year. When you see those first 19, a 235 opponent's batting average on the slider, that is very good, but it has been excellent over the last 8. Here's a 156 opponent's batting average, and the spin rate has been up. And so what does that tell us? That it's been tighter, the break has been later. I think that also speaks to how strong Mike Minor is feeling. He knew this offseason, once he signed with the Rangers, that he was going to be a starter. And when that's the case, after spending a year in the bullpen, you train a little bit differently, and that training is really paying off right now. You get a good look at the grip, the tight spin rate, all those above 2,600. And so we've talked about this a lot, but this digs in a little bit further. And for Mike Minor, as the season goes on, he has gotten stronger, he has gotten better, and he hopes to continue that through these last 9 games for the Rangers.
Well, this game 2 under new management. Don Wakamatsu, the interim manager, got a win last night in a rain-shortened ball game. For a little more on him, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind 24 hours for Don Wakamatsu and the rest of the Rangers, for that matter, since Jeff Bannister was dismissed and Wak became the interim manager. Asked him just about, how he's kind of processed the whole last day, how he's going to move forward. He said he's relying heavily at this point on his staff. There's only so much he can do, wants to rely on the guys around him to do their jobs. As far as his managerial style, he said he takes honestly less from that time he had as a manager in Seattle in 2009 and 10. Less from that and more from the experience he's had with other managers, some of the greats that he's been able to be around over the course of his career. So he said while that time in Seattle, of course, was helpful, he's relying more now on those experiences that he had with those he learned so much from.
It really is amazing, too, because a lot of players will tell you that same exact thing about teammates or managers that they had, what they learned over the years, and not just when you're the guy. Sure, you learn a lot when you're the guy making those decisions and you're the point man leading a team, but there's something about observing and watching the way other people handle their business where you certainly can pick up a lot. And for Don Wakamatsu, his experience is not just limited to when he was at the helm of the Seattle Mariners, but all the great managers that he has had opportunity to work under over the course of his career.
Well, Mike Minor getting set to go here this evening against the Seattle Mariners. Mariners 84-69 and 12 games out in the division. They will lead it off tonight with right fielder Mitch Haniger, Gene Segura at shortstop, Robinson Cano at second, bats third. Then it's Cruz, Ryan Healy, and Kyle Seager in the middle of the order. Mike Zunino does the catching. D. Gordon in center field tonight, and Guillermo Heredia in left rounds it out.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Mike Minor and what he has used this season. It is presented by Shiner Light Blonde, and it's light, done right. And you see the four-seam fastball 48% of the time. The slider, the changeup, the curveball, all there for Mike Minor. We talked about the slider overall. It's been very good. The curveball, though, we didn't dig into that one too much. That has been excellent. A 120 batting average against that pitch all year long. The only pitch in Mike Minor's arsenal in which he is not allowed a home run.
All right, well, he is set to go. Mitch Haniger leading it off, and he takes one low and away for ball one. Underway tonight. Cooler temperatures still, as the rain that has come through town has, for the second day in a row, dropped temperatures precipitously. 71 degrees there at game time. And there's a strike to even things up at 1-1. Yeah, there it is.
Good to see, finally.
Yeah. Of course, we'll see more cool weather on the road when we go out to the West Coast. This one popped up out into left field and handled out there by Gallo, one away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense this evening, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll get a look at that defense here in a second, as Gene Segura now steps in for the Mariners.
Figures a pitcher would be really geeked up and eager to see defense.
I'm all about the defense.
Mike Minor happy that the defense took care of the first ball in play today, and he fires a strike into Gene Segura.
There's bugs flying over his head.
I was noticing the same thing. We've had a little bit. In fact, right as we were getting ready to start the game, it looked like there was another, I don't know, small band of rain that kind of washed through here. Off and on a little bit in the very late afternoon upstairs, and it's 2-1. Yeah, there you see it. Now that's pretty light. On TV, that tends to look a little more dramatic. It's definitely still out there, and they were working hard on the field earlier today. It wasn't simply a matter of pulling the tarp off and dressing the field a little bit. They were basically tilling the infield and the baselines, trying to turn over some of that really wet surface and let it dry out a little bit. And there's ball 4, and Segura takes the walk.
There it is. You mentioned the work that they were doing, digging up and turning over that dirt as much as possible. So much rain. I don't know if we got an official inch count as far as what the field took yesterday, but it was pretty incredible to watch how much water. And so Dennis and the crew, not only did they work all night and all day to get this field right, but then they have to sit here and they're going to be on call, not only because it might rain, but to keep an eye on how the field is and how the players are reacting and what kind of responses they get on ground balls and guys running the bases and pitchers digging in on the mound, all of that stuff. Keeping a close eye on everything that is happening on that field right now.
We'll turn around quickly too with a day game tomorrow for the finale of this series. Robinson Cano batting third, just 1 for 13 in his career against Mike Minor. Middle of the infield at double play depth, and time asked for and granted by our plate umpire Mark Carlson tonight.
Cano, one of 3 lefties in the lineup for Scott Services Club, the Mariners, this evening. Mike Minor's actually got better numbers against right-handed hitters this year. 227 against the righties, 257 against the lefties.
Cano didn't get cheated. 1-1 the count. Rangers won yesterday 8-3 was the final score. Cano had 2 hits and a walk in his 4 trips to the plate. In fact, his hit in the 7th inning came right before a double play. Did not end the inning, but it was the last, I guess, official play prior to the rain delay that ended the game yesterday.
So how does that work? Does the Seager at bat or plate appearance get just completely wiped out as a 1-2 count?
Yep, didn't exist. Except for, I guess, purposes of pitch count, maybe.
I saw with my own 2 eyes.
Nope, never happened. Segura at first. A ball and 2 strikes to Robinson Cano. And did he stop himself? He did. That'll even the count. 295 average for Cano. 8 home runs, 42 RBIs for him. And Cano neither walks nor strikes out very often. Both those numbers pretty low, generally speaking. And this one out into center field. The Shields coming in for it. He'll make the catch.
All right, now let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Joey Gallo, Delino DeShields, and Nomar Mazzara in the outfield this evening. And in the infield, Jurickson Profar, Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor, Ronald Guzman, and Isaiah Carner-Falefa doing the catching.
All right, so with 2 gone, here comes Nelson Cruz. Cruz was 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk, also struck out. And he takes low from Minor. But 36 home runs, 90 RBIs for Cruz, and another really good, productive season for him. This is the final of a 4-year deal that he had with Seattle.
I thought you were going to say that's just what his close friends call him.
Crew?
Yeah. A pretty cool nickname.
I think it'd be a good name, and I think I'd like to be a part of the crew.
Yeah. You call him Crew, he calls you Ray. That's how you guys roll.
The 1-0 pitch, and he fouls that one back. Now he seems to be the type of guy who, there are guys every now and then you see like this, where the end just doesn't seem to be near.
Yeah.
You wonder. I mean, some guys kind of taper off a little bit at the end of their career. That has not been the case with him. Way inside, it's 2-1. He's gone 5 straight years now with at least 35 home runs, and honestly, it could be better. Last year had 39 homers, and he fell just one short of that round number of 40. And had he gotten it, it would have been 4 consecutive years of 40 home runs.
He's got that great home run swing, really good extension. The bat stays in the zone for a while, but he's one of those guys that you watch and you really can appreciate the power swing, the good follow through, the long follow through. And he can still drive the ball, as you mentioned. Past the 1,000 RBI mark this season with 90 at 119 last year to lead the American League. I mean, it is amazing to see what he can continue to do with the bat.
Full count now.
And he'll fall short. I mean, we talk about the numbers, having 36 home runs. He's only got 554 plate appearances. Last year he had 645 plate appearances. So right around 90 less plate appearances and only 3 home runs short of what he did last year.
He asked for time here. Mark Carlson, plate umpire, said, that's cool, Crew. Take your time. Here's the 3-2. And this one down the right side, foul and out of play. So Cruz last night, I mentioned, he was 0 for 3. Did have the 1 walk in the strikeout, but he had 2 at-bats that went 7 pitches deep, and this will be the 7th pitch in this at-bat here. He's made Rangers pitchers work. The payoff pitch. Check swing, and that one going to be an easy play for Guzman. Minor just had to win the race to first, and he does. So the inning is over. A scoreless top of the first for the Mariners. Minor with a good start to this one. Profar and the Rangers coming to bat. Rangers 65 and 88 overall this year, and 31 games out in the division. And taking a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Profar leading it off. Andrews at short bat second. Nomar Mazara bats third. Beltré, Odor, and the catcher Isaiah Kiner-Falefa today in the middle of the order. Gallo in left, Guzman at first, and Delano DeShields in center field rounds it out. First pitch on the way from Gonzalez, and that one is a little bit low. Ball 1 to Profar. Just the third time this year that Profar has found himself in the leadoff spot. He takes off the plate, 2-0. And what hasn't he done? 40 starts at third base, 61 starts at short, made 8 starts at second base. He's got it everywhere in the lineup except ninth. 2-1 the count. And with all of that fluctuation, all of that change, varying conditions, 18 homers, 74 RBIs. And he takes low, 3-1.
It continues to get it done. It's been a great year for Jurickson Profar. And talked about this a lot during the season, but first of all, a consistent playing time and swinging the bat really well. But I gotta believe one of the biggest developments that they are most thrilled about is his ability to hit left-handers this year.
And there's ball 4. And he'll take the walk to begin things here in the bottom of the first.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Gonzalez, what he has used so far this season, and it's brought to you by Shiner Light Blonde. This is a pretty even mix, 32% on the two-seam fastball. You got the changeup, the curveball, both at 23%, the cutter at 22%. So those secondary offerings all used equally for Gonzalez, and there's not one that seems particularly better, at least that he's done really well with, over another. His batting averages against the cutter and the curveball both at 234, and on the changeup 297.
First pitch to Elvis in the dirt. Andrews with the average at 252. 0 for 2 with a walk yesterday, scored a run. One 0 pitch from Gonzalez, and that just missed. 2-0.
Do you remember that going back to spring training regarding Profar, the concern about the conversation was not sure if we can use him or trust him against left-handed pitching just because the rate really hadn't been there. He did a little bit better in the minor leagues last year, but there was legitimate concerns because in the big leagues he'd only hit 188 against lefties coming into the season. The OPS was at 503. And that was a legitimate concern when you're dealing with a switch hitter. And obviously you're going to face more righties than lefties, but you want to know, can we really use him against left-handed pitching? Well, Jurickson Profar proved that you absolutely can use him against lefties.
Well, pop-up left side of the infield, and Andrews is the first out here in the first inning.
The Mariners defense this evening is sponsored by Jack in the Box, and here it is for Scott Services Club in his outfield. It's Heredia, Gordon, and Haniger. Left to right, and in the infield, Kyle Seager, Gene Segura, Robinson Cano, Ryan Healy is getting the start at first base, and it's Mike Zunino behind the plate.
So, one disregarding your question, yes, I do remember.
Right.
I mean, I think it was the one, it's the one question you kind of had going into spring with Profar is, could you answer that? Could he end up being a guy who could be serviceable from both sides? I want to say there was even at some point, some entertainment of the idea, maybe he should give up switch hitting. And there you see the splits. But he definitely answered that question this year.
Kind of surprised for me to see, okay, so it's 20 points higher in the batting average, but obviously the power much better against those righties. I just looked at this and I was pretty surprised. The OPS against lefties on base plus slugging, and even 800. Against righties, 799. Dead split on the OPS. And so as much as we look at the average and the home runs, we absolutely do that. Big teams dig a little bit deeper, and they'll dig even deeper than OPS. But to see that as almost an even split for a guy that's having a really good year, again, another really great sign for Profar.
And clearly, a lot of the slugging from the right side coming from the doubles. 35 doubles, a team high this year for Profar. Plus 6 triples. There's been a lot of extra base power, not always straight home runs from that right side. Nomar, meanwhile, the count 2-1. And he pulls this one slowly down that first base side. Little hesitation, and the flip to Gonzalez in time to get Mazara for out number 2.
That was risky, right? The timing of that play, when you hit that kind of slow ground ball, a lot of times you're just thinking you got no chance of be out at second. Go ahead and take your out at first. As you see Ryan Healy, though, he gave a look to second base, which would have gave Nomar Mazara a little bit more time, but they still got him by at least a full step. But I'm surprised that Ryan Healy even gave that look right there. Especially when you got a left-handed hitter who gets out of the box pretty quickly. It's too risky to throw in that spot. You just take your out at first.
So Beltré now. And Gonzalez starts him off speed with strike 1. Adrian 2 for 3 with a home run yesterday. Drove in 5 runs. You see there at the bottom of the screen, hitting over 300 in the month, and half of his season home run total has come here in September. This one, soft liner out there to second base, and Cano takes care of it. And that will end the inning. The Rangers leave a man in scoring position. We go to the second, no score. A little bit of rain falling. Kubota power stats for Mike Minor. Last 8 starts here at home. ERA of 2.76. A little more than 15 pitches per inning. And he's not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of those 8 starts. And we've been so consistent, so good. Put up a scoreless first. Although he did have to use 20 pitches in that first inning. We'll see how he does against Healy, Kyle Seager, and Mike Zunino here in the second. 2-0. Seen a couple pitches that look like they're inside the strike zone on Fox Tracks, but have not been called strikes tonight. There's one that was 2-1, indicating maybe Carlson has a slightly tighter zone, and in particular, it seems like the outside corner to right-handed hitters might be where you're not getting any extra. This one cuts off a little more of the plate and ends up down in the left field corner. Healy with a leadoff double here in the second.
That's a good point, because when you have left-handed pitching out on the mound, you got some right-handers in the lineup, 6 of them. You want to know you're going to get the corner, and you'd love to have a couple of inches off if you can get a little bit greedy. And when you don't, it forces you to come on the plate a little bit more. And there's a good example of catching more of the plate. And Ryan Healy goes out there and he hooks this pitch. You see him out in front of that changeup a little bit, 86 miles an hour from Mike Minor. And he just hooks it right into the corner for an easy double.
So Seager with a man in scoring position, and he'll take strike one. Seager just 2 for 12 against Minor in his career, and that average pretty low there at 220 this year for Kyle Seager, but good power numbers. And 2.
There's that shift against Kyle Seager, something he is very used to seeing, and something undoubtedly that he is frustrated with. But of course, you see the shift on the right side in the infield, but Delano DeShields actually shifted to the left side in the outfield.
Swing and a miss, and Seager baffled at that last one. Strikes out for the first out of the inning.
That's a really uncomfortable swing for Kyle Seager as the struggles continue for him. And nice pitch by Mike Minor, expanding the zone on this 0-2 count. And again, the tightness of the slider, we talked about it in the open. You hear things about loopy, breaking balls, sloppy, maybe ones that are easy to pick up, but his slider has gotten better and better as the season has gone later and tighter. Really good example on that 0-2 pitch to Seager.
Now Mike Zunino. Run with the Mendoza line there at 197. 19 home runs though, 43 RBIs. That one just misses. Minor working from behind against Zunino. 2 for 3 with a double yesterday, and he swings and misses at that one.
It's a nice job on the changeup. We know Zunino has struggled from a batting average standpoint. That will tell you that he's a pretty good fastball hitter, but will struggle with the off speed. So even though Mike Minor falls behind, he pulls the string on a great changeup. And when you have the confidence to throw that pitch for a strike at any time in the count, you can really baffle some right-handed hitters, even when you're behind.
3-1. You see Minor a little frustrated after that last one. Not because he thought he should get the call. Just feeling around a little bit right now, trying to get that touch and that command. Now it's come with something good to Zunino, and he gets a strike call. That one right on the lower edge of the strike zone, and it's a full count.
Back to the changeup again for Mike Minor in this 3-1 count after missing with that previous fastball. You mentioned the frustration that he had showed, and so maybe not feeling that comfortable right now with the fastball command. We'll see what he decides to do on the 3-2 count.
Runner goes. No, he doesn't. He bluffs in a 3-2 pitch, swung on a miss, so he strikes out Zunino.
That's a good fastball. Came back with the heater at 95 miles an hour. And remember, you're sitting there as Zunino, you got to wonder, oh, okay, he just threw me a 2-0 changeup, a 3-1 changeup. What am I going to get 3-2? And Mike Minor goes back to the fastball, and Mike Zunino can't catch up to it. But it's the effectiveness of the previous changeups that make this 95-mile-an-hour fastball even better.
Well, that's a big comeback in that at bat. Behind 3-1 and comes back and strikes him out, and now D. Gordon fouls off strike one. Gordon batting in the 8th spot tonight for Seattle. Yesterday he was in the 9th spot on the batting order. Great speed when he is on, and he's done a decent job this year at times. 1-1 the count. Yesterday had a triple, part of a 2-for-3 day, scored a run. Catches a corner. 1-2 the count.
D. Gordon, we know, has been struggling this season, but with 2 strikes, he has been swinging at nearly 80% of the pitches that he sees. That is the highest mark in the game. So Mike Minor certainly is aware of that. And so when you get ahead in the count like this, there's some opportunities to shoot corners just off the plate when you have an aggressive hitter. D. Gordon not one to take a walk.
Swing and a miss, and he strikes out. And Minor strikes out the side in the second inning.
This is good homework and good execution by Mike Minor. He knows that D. Gordon gets anxious with 2 strikes, so he rears back, throws his fastball at 96 miles an hour just off the plate. Gets that kind of swing.
Arlington, it is time for our progressive fan of the game, and it is Georgia Helm, and this is becoming an annual tradition. Last year we celebrated her 86th birthday here at the ballpark. Now her family is here for her 87th birthday, so I told her we could just make this an annual tradition. Every year she can come out to the ballpark and be fan of the game. I told her she didn't have to talk, but Georgia, you do have to smile. Smile, and there we go. That's all I wanted to see. Congratulations and happy birthday, sweetie.
Very happy birthday, Georgia, and an annual tradition. We'd love that.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's not get too far afield as Odor takes a strike to count 1-1. I saw Steve Buechele earlier today down at the clubhouse. Wished him a belated happy birthday because it was in the game notes yesterday that he was celebrating a birthday. And I said, why does everybody think it's my birthday?
No way.
I said, well, I don't know. Is it your birthday? He said, no, next week. Well, then I guess I'm ahead of the game. Mind being a little early.
Next week, like as in before the season's over?
Yeah, I think.
Let's see here. September 26th.
Yeah.
This baseball reference page
4 days.
Says.
Gonzalez to the plate, 1-2, and Odor swings and misses. And that strikeout begins the second inning. All right, let's take a moment now and check in with the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
I did not realize that you and Steve went to the same university.
We did. Not at the same time, mind you, but we did.
You're a couple years older, right?
That's right. Yeah, he is a good Stanford Cardinal. And by that, I mean he was an excellent ball player, obviously. And he has always been a very generous alum as well. Helped take care of the baseball program. Very well respected.
Do you know who his college roommate was?
John Elway.
That's right. Pretty amazing. Who's your college roommate?
Tone Lin. My freshman year.
Yeah.
He was from Minnesota. 2-1 pitch. Bouncer back to the mound. And Gonzalez goes out Kiner Falefa.
So Buechele wins again.
And here comes Joey Gallo. But Gallo, our TXU Energy power player to watch. He could be the power player to watch every night. But how about this? If you just take fly balls and line drives and look at the average exit velocity, only Giancarlo Stanton hits the ball harder than Joey Gallo. And I think of this as just squaring the ball up. And when he squares it up, almost 100 miles per hour on average.
Well, you can see why Joey Gallo, even though he does an uppercut, we see some really high fly balls. We know that he is at his best getting the ball in the air. That's what he does. Doesn't hit the ball on the ground very often, and when he gets it in the air, he hits it hard. And it's just that simple. And that's Joey Gallo's game, and that's why he is knocking on the door of 40 home runs once again.
That one way up in the air and foul to the left side. No balls, 2 strikes on Gallo. A little bit of a shift.
It really is amazing to see. Now, we've seen some very creative shifts against Joey Gallo. We saw the 4 outfielders. But this is pretty special. They are really confident that he is not going to hit a ground ball anywhere left.
Well, hits this one on the ground to a traditional second base position, and it completes the inning. 1, 2, 3, half of the second. And John Elway has a lot of car dealerships in Colorado. Other quarterbacks have fancy restaurants. Right here, Texas Live. No score through 2. Department of Transportation to remind you to click it or ticket day and night. Well, chopping it up here as we go to the 3rd inning. No score, and Heredia leading things off for the Mariners. It'll be Heredia, then back to the top for Mitch Haniger and Gene Segura. Miners 1-0, and that's out to the screen behind home plate. And surprised a few spectators. 1-1. Numbers don't jump off the page for Heredia. It takes a little bit in. 2-1. Been very good defensively this year for Seattle, and he's bounced up and down a little bit. AAA Tacoma and the big club. Close strike there to make it 2-2.
Mike Minor would love to get that call pretty consistently the rest of the night. We talked about off the plate or on the corner. Maybe that hasn't been their way to righties, but that one pretty close to being a ball and called a strike.
And this one down into that left field corner, but foul.
Joey back and left. I thought he looked pretty good the other night. We saw him in center moving around really well, covering ground. Curious, lots of questions this offseason how the outfield will look next year for the Rangers. There's options. It's just a matter of where they feel they could best use each of their guys.
This ball out over short, and that's a base hit for Heredia. So for the second inning in a row, Mariners have the lead man on as we turn the lineup over, and we also take a moment for a Chevy game break. Let's see if we can find John Radigan. Yeah, thanks, John. I mean, they're the first National League team, as I understand it, to officially clinch a playoff position. So they are in. And I would gather if you asked a lot of folks before the season began if they thought Atlanta would be the first one in, you probably would have had few takers on that. Very few. One strike pitch to Haniger. And that is outside, 1-1.
That young ball club that they have right now, I think, has Braves fans dreaming of what was once that 14-year run. Of course, with the 94 strikes, so there was no division winners that year. They were in second place when the strike hit in 1994. But take that season out, and they went 14 straight division titles. And I think we will never see anything like that again. Pretty much impossible to have that kind of run. But they really do like what they have. There's a good young core there. They need to probably add some veteran pitching. Mike Minor, familiar, of course. He came through the minor leagues and got to the big leagues as an Atlanta Brave.
Just misses a little bit low.
There's a reaction. So you see that reaction from Mike Minor because the fastball to Heredia was probably, I don't know, an inch or two lower and was called a strike. And that's where you get frustration from pitchers. It's the consistency of the calls that you get. Watch this one, but we saw that earlier, actually probably even a little bit lower, called a strike. You throw a changeup there, and that's why Mike Minor had that kind of delayed reaction after he caught the ball.
Ooh, a little cue shot down the line. Picked up and forced down at first to throw the second double play. What a nice play by Guzman at first. Kicked the bag quickly and then fired a strike to second to double off Heredia.
A smile is all around the Ranger infield right now after this tremendous play from Ronald Guzman, who continues to get it done. You see him coming off the bag, holding the runner, gets back very nicely and gets the tag on the bag. And then, of course, the good throw. Now watch this. I think there's going to be some questions here from Scott Service on whether or not that was a fair ball. That is not a reviewable play, so it's only a conversation that he can have with the umpiring crew. Good tag there by Elvis Andrews, but what a great play. Look at that smile. We don't see too much emotion from Mike Minor, whether it's on or off the field, but he liked that one a lot, and a great job by his defense in the infield once again.
Excellent work by the Condor once again. And so that double play wipes the bases clean for Gene Segura. And there's a strike from Minor. Segura walked in the first inning. Fouls this one straight back to the count 0-2.
I mean, it's tough to get a read on whether or not that ball was fair or foul. I think what probably got Scott Service a little bit upset is that as Ronald Guzman caught that ball, then the glove was into fair territory. So it has a tendency to almost make it look like, excuse me, in the foul territory. So it almost made it look like it might have been foul. But again, those are not reviewable in front of the bag.
Bouncer right back to the mound, and Minor with a good snare of that one, and he takes care of Segura to end an inning. And what a nice job defensively in the third by the Rangers. Another goose egg on the board, and after 2.5, we have no score.
And the Rangers, and as Ronald Guzman steps in, I want to show you this defensive play. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. You see the exchange there at nearly 1.4 seconds, and the strong throw. And look how close this ball is. That was a good call, as you see Ronald Guzman catching that ball right in front of the bag, and the good footwork as he gets the left foot on top of the bag, makes a really good throw. And you're going to don't forget, Ronald Guzman is a big man, and to have the hands and the feet all work together that smoothly, and a nice call down at first base. He continues to impress.
It's this ball hard out to center field. D. Gordon able to get back and make the play. One out here in the third inning. Well, tomorrow, final game of this homestand, also Fan Appreciation Day. Fans get a 2018 Rangers team photo complete with next year's schedule on the back. Also, you get a voucher for a free ticket to select games in 2019. And a lot of giveaways every inning during the game, including autographed baseballs and jerseys. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS, and hope to see you out here. It's the final home game of the season. Delano DeShields now batting ninth, starting in center, and he takes a strike from Gonzalez. Gonzalez has done a nice job so far. Issued the leadoff walk to Jurickson Profar, but has retired 7 in a row since. Jumps ahead of DeShields here, 0-2. He's 26 years old. This is 28th start of the season. And his career is his 4th career start against the Rangers. And a little foul ball by Delano. The count stays 0-2.
A couple of good breaking balls from Gonzalez to Delano DeShields so far in this at bat.
Gonzalez acquired by the Mariners from St. Louis. And that was last July. They traded minor league outfielder Tyler O'Neill to the Cardinals.
He just hit a bomb today. He hit a big, important home run, I think, for the Cardinals. I think if I'm not mistaken, they walked it off. Bottom of the 10th.
The Cardinals in the middle of a huge battle for a wild card, as this one lined into center field, and DeShields has the first Rangers hit of the night.
Good job by Delano to get the Rangers runners on the board, at least in the hit column. There's the cutter from Gonzalez, and that is the pitch in which he registers the most strikeouts so far this season. 57 of his strikeouts have come on that cutter. He thought maybe he had a chance to finish off the lineup, but he left that one up over the plate, and Colon does a nice job of lining it to center. It's kind of surprising that the cutter is his biggest swing and miss pitch. I mean, you know, you think about pitch. You know, guys like Kenley Jansen that have the power cutter, Mariano Rivera, but this is a cutter that sits around 87 miles an hour, so it's not an overpowering one. I mentioned 57 strikeouts on the cutter this year for Gonzalez. The pitch in which he has registered the second most strikeouts, the changeup, only 31. That's a big difference when you're talking about a cutter that's not a power cutter.
Oh, 2 the count on Profile.
It's funny you mentioned Tyler O'Neill. I just happened to see that he had hit that walk-off and scrolling through, and there was a post-game interview, and definitely a guy who works out a little bit, pretty fit, pretty jacked. And then Jody Jackson, the sideline reporter for the Arizona Diamondbacks, just tweeted out a picture of Tyler O'Neill's dad standing next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're both super jacked. And so his dad is a former Canadian bodybuilder, and so there's the good genes, as she mentioned. That's where they come from. Kind of random that Gonzalez was the guy that was traded from that you brought up, and all that information was coming across within the last 10 minutes.
Next thing you know, you're looking at the cover of like a 1970s magazine or something.
It's Combat magazine from 1983.
Yeah. Oh, 83.
Yeah. It's fantastic. They both have samurai swords.
Two hopper to shortstop. Segura to second, 1. Cano makes the turn, and the inning is done. Rangers waste the 1 hit, and we go to the 4th inning tonight. Still 0-0. Chris Davis last night of the 10th inning for Oakland, and that's right, a walk-off home run against the Twins. His 45th home run of the year, and against the A's, magic number for the wild card, down to 3. They also, by the way, hit that shot.
He looked like he barely got that ball, right? I mean, it almost looked like he hit it off the end a little bit, kind of tapped it. And dude is so strong, having a great year, and the Oakland A's continue to make their push for the postseason.
Now, one of the teams mathematically still in the race right now are the Mariners, but they are just about as good as done. 8.5 back.
Their elimination number is 1.
Yep. Yankees 2 games clear of the A's. This one a soft bloop out to center field for Cano. And for the 3rd inning in a row, the Mariners have the lead man on. But it's pretty clearly going to be the Yankees and the A's in the wild card game. Question does remain, though, could Oakland end up hosting that wild card game? Less likely. I don't think it matters. I think
2 back right now, though.
2 back. I don't think it's going to happen. But I will say this. Regardless, I don't know why. I just have this feeling Oakland's absolutely going to win that game.
Really?
Against the Yankees, regardless where it is. And you know, I think they have a chance to maybe even upset a division series.
They're built for a short series.
Yeah.
We talk about teams a lot. Are they built for the regular season? Are they built for the postseason? Are they built for a wild card game? Are they built for a shorter, long series in the postseason? And you're right. I think a wild card game, they can throw all those relievers out there and give the Yankees some fits. Anybody for that matter.
Another base hit. This one by Nelson Cruz. So back-to-back singles to start the 4th inning. Mariners trying to build something here.
So part of that, I think, for the Oakland A's, because they have exceeded expectations as much as they have, I do believe that Bob Melvin will end up with the American League Manager of the Year. You see that record right now, 93 and 61, and not everybody's perfect, but Fangraphs projected the A's to win 77 games this year, and they're already 16 over that number, and they're doing it with the 28th payroll in Major League Baseball. For me, I just don't know if there's anybody else that can top that when you look at what the A's have done. Obviously, they have to be a wild card team with the Astros in their division, but when you look at what they were expected to do, where their payroll is, and exceeding expectations by a lot, I think Bob Melvin will be the guy.
I agree. Kevin Cash will probably win it.
I think so.
No.
Oh.
I'm just reaching for another candidate.
Well, I think Alex Cora's in there for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, even for Alex Cora right now, they were a team, the Boston Red Sox, that were projected to win 92 games. Now they're already at 105, so they're 13 over as far as projections, but they have the highest payroll in baseball. You know what I mean? And it's not an automatic, but you got some tools there.
Ryan Healy takes in the dirt. Good block by Kiner Falefa. 2-0 the count. A couple of base runners on here, nobody out.
The other thing I started doing, I was putting my little managerial candidate nerd spreadsheet together, and I did top 10s. Top 10s meaning how many top 10 in WAR position players do they have in the league, and pitchers.
Okay.
The Cleveland Indians have 6, if you can believe that, between the pitchers that they have and the hitters that they have. The Boston Red Sox have 3. That's either pitchers or hitters combined top 10 in their league in WAR. So as far as the tools, as far as the years that you have, just a little kind of side note, what are you working with? Did you exceed expectations? What kind of roster were you working with as far as maybe the payroll, and then what kind of years? And so anybody that, for me, that has a lower number of top 10, pitcher or position players, I think that's a little feather in the cap, a little side note that's worth paying attention to. It's not the be all end all, but a little.
No, like what are some of the other interesting standouts that way? Either good teams with very few or bad teams with a lot.
So you have, like, as an example, the Tampa Bay Rays. They have 1 player, Blake Snell, right? Yeah. Top 10 pitcher. They have 0 top 10 hitters. The Yankees only have 1. The Dodgers have 0. At least as of a couple of days ago. But the Indians far and away have the most with 6. Of the manager of the year candidates that I have right now.
Yeah, so Dodgers have 0. That's interesting. Oh, leading their division.
Yep.
It's the point there being right that if you had whatever 10 or 15 guys who were, let's say, somewhere between 10 and 15 in WAR or whatever, then maybe that's it is interesting, right? Do you want just real even balance everywhere, or do you want some studs? Pop up out into left field. Gallo coming on, and there is the first out of the inning. I mean, I think, to me, when you start talking about top 10 in WAR at any place, You gotta have him on the pitching side, right? That's where a manager is really dealing with something.
If you ask him what he wants, he goes, I want a good bullpen. That's what he's going to tell you. I want a deep bullpen. I want to make phone calls that I have confidence in. I look down there and say, yeah, give me that guy.
You could almost argue you're better off with a lineup of interchangeable, totally interchangeable parts, right?
Well, I think the A's are somewhat of an example of that as far as where is your strength. It's in the bullpen. And if you just can't get your hands on the starters that you need, then you're going to see more openers. And you're going to see, I don't know what, 10-man bullpens with 3 starters.
You know, you talk about things we're going to look for next year. My goodness, the way teams construct rosters next year, that's really going to be interesting.
Yeah.
The way they even go out in free agency this year. I mean, do you bother trying to come up with a full 5-man rotation, or do you just go out and start thinking about building up a big bullpen and bullpenning everybody all year? To me, that's such a challenging position to put yourself in, but I don't know. Who knows?
There was a time when league average starters, I mean, go back to the Gil Mesh contract, right, in the 2000s. Remember, he signed that, I believe, was a 5 for 55. Does that sound familiar? Whatever it was. And you looked at his numbers. He was league average across the board. 500 record, average ERA for the time, and he got himself a really good contract. And so the league average starter was getting about $10 million, and this was 15 years ago. League average starters this year were getting $8 to $10 million in the offseason. So the point being is that their salaries did not keep up like everybody else's did not grow the way. This is, again, league average, not Max Scherzer, not David Price. Your league average starters have not seen an increase in salary on the smaller deals the way that everybody else has in the game. And so I think that is an indicator of where we're headed and what teams might do. And do you want to give a guy $10 million a year? Andrew Cashner last year, I think, is a good example. What he did here with the Rangers, the year that he had, there were some ups, there were some downs. You looked at Andrew Cashner as, you know, a guy that I think was a league average starter, and the ERA was pretty good at 3.40, but he was a 500 pitcher last year in the American League, maybe slightly above league average.
Swing and a miss, and Seager strikes out. 2 away in the inning. And by the way, that's 11 swings and misses so far tonight by Seattle.
Take a look at this pitch here from Mike Minor. Second time he has punched out Kyle Seager, feeling pretty comfortable as he rears back and he throws this 4-seam fastball up in the zone.
So back-to-back singles to start the inning, a pop-up and a strikeout. And now Minor has to get Zunino. And Zunino lifts this one straight up in the air into center field. Delano DeShields is there, and what a great job by Minor to work around 2 straight hits to start the 4th. Last of the 4th inning coming, no score. Rangers will lead it off with Elvis Andrus when we come back.
In Arlington, game 2 of a 3-game set between the Mariners and the Rangers. Game 3 on tap tomorrow as we take a look at the proposed starting pitchers for tomorrow's matchup. In our Ford probables, it will be Martin Perez getting the start for the Rangers, his first since August 25th, facing off against Wade LeBlanc. There you see his numbers over the last 5. Very good. And talking to Don Wakamatsu about the decision to bring Martin back into the fold as far as the starting rotation is concerned, he says they like what they've seen from him out of the bullpen. They want to see if that can translate onto the starting mound for Martin, and in fact went on to say that he would get another start before the end of the season as well, guys.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting news today.
Yeah, agreed. And surprising, but maybe not to Martin Perez, which I thought was also the interesting part of that he was aware that there were going to be some more starts in his future before the season came to an end. So a really good opportunity for Martin, because as much as we've seen him do some good things in the bullpen, he wants to start, and he's talked about that. And so he'll get another opportunity. And Don Wakamatsu talked about that pitch count and being careful, and certainly not going to put him in a situation where they're going to risk anything. But at the same time, they also know how much Martin wants this opportunity, and so he'll get after it, and that'll be fun to watch.
Apparently he found out Wednesday as this one lifted out to right field by Andrews. Takes Haniger back near the warning track with a fly out to begin the 4th inning. So that had been in the works that Martin would get a start in Sunday's game prior to the managerial change here, which I also sort of found interesting. We just found out about it today, obviously. A lot of other news coming down the last couple of days, but good for Martin. Martin asked today too. We caught him after the session with Wakamatsu, and so what about pitch count? It's 75, 80, something like this. It doesn't matter. I'm throwing a complete game. So I'm throwing 2 shutouts. Foul ball by Mazzara for strike 1.
Well, there's no doubt that there is some fuel right now for Martin Perez and a fire to want to finish strong. Getting taken out of the rotation, the season not going the way that he wanted it to, going into the bullpen, and certainly he sees that as a demotion. And this was a year it did seem like he was primed to have a big season. I thought that at the end of spring training, watching him, watching how locked in he was, I was like, man, this is going to be a big year for Martin, and it just didn't go that way for him, and it certainly wasn't for a lack of effort or preparation or any of it. It's just one of those things, and so now he's got to kind of reprove himself, and he looks forward to that challenge.
In the dirt, 2-1 to Nomar Mazzara, who grounded out in the 1st inning. Rangers have just 1 hit so far tonight and 2 base runners. Profar walked in the 1st. Shields had the single in the 3rd. And this ball high in the air out to right center field. Haniger ranging way over, and he'll make the play. 2 gone. So here comes Adrian Beltré in our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. Rangers home runs. Adrian Beltré, 198 home runs in a Rangers uniform. Behind only Juan Gonzalez, Rafael Palmeiro, and Pudge. But I think more importantly, really, you got to get him to 200. Homered yesterday. In fact, Beltré with 14 home runs for the year, and 7 of them have come in September. You see the last 6 games for Adrian. A lot of doubles in there to go with those 2 home runs. 1-1. Yesterday, a season high 5 RBIs for him. How about the month of September? Daniel Polka, the White Sox, the only American League hitter with more home runs, has 8 of them in the month. This ball hit hard down the left field line. Foul. Oh, Dave, good play.
Snagged it, didn't lose the phone. That is a great play. Better hand that ball over that little man. There it is. It's been a good year for Ranger fans here at the ballpark.
Yeah.
They made some great plays all year long. Lots of opportunities. Well, so what happened was that I thought I had it. It caught my hand, and well, she's like, well, I ended up with it. Every foul ball tells a story.
Yes, it does. This ball hooked on the ground toward third, cut off by Seager. And he'll throw out Beltré to win the 4th inning. 4 innings in the books so far tonight. Neither team has scored.
Time for the Southwest Airlines player breakdown, and Mike Minor's done a really nice job finishing off innings here so far this evening. You see the strikeout there of D. Gordon and that ground ball that Mike Minor made a really nice play on in the 3rd inning, and then this fly ball to finish off the 4th inning. So there's been a little bit of traffic for Minor. He hasn't had that 1, 2, 3 inning yet, but he has done a nice job of finishing off each inning, and this is what he's done by situation so far. This is the opponent's batting average against Mike Minor in these spots. The base is empty. Runners on, runners in scoring position has been fantastic, and it's gotten even better with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And so when it matters most, Mike Minor has really stepped up and done a nice job this year.
Well, he faces D. Gordon to lead off this 5th inning and starts him off the plate with ball 1. Struck out Gordon in the 2nd. Gordon tries to bunt his way on, fouls this one away. 1-1. Gordon, one of those guys acquired by the Mariners, by Jerry Dipoto, the general manager of the Seattle Mariners, who has been very, very active in reshaping the club. For Dipoto, acquiring Gordon, it was the 58th trade that he had made in 28 months on the job. And Gordon, former All-Star and Gold Glove second baseman for the Marlins, the idea was that they would acquire him and turn him into a center fielder. Initially a little apprehensive about that, but then said, you know what, no, I'll become a Gold Glove center fielder then. 1-2 the count.
And part of that for the Marlins and what they did to the entire market, the offseason market, because D. Gordon was traded away as an outfielder. And then it was Stanton, then it was Yelich, and then it was Ozuna. The Miami Marlins put 4 outfielders on the market this past offseason, which hurt the rest of the market for the guys, the free agents, J.D. Martinez and others. There weren't nearly as many positions available because the Marlins had just flooded the outfield market this past offseason. It's not very, I guess it's probably never happened where a team has traded away 4 impact outfielders in an offseason. Nearly impossible to do.
Yeah. If it has ever been done before, probably the Marlins.
Yeah, that's a good point. About every 4 or 5 years on average.
1-2 the count on Gordon. Minor with 4 strikeouts so far tonight. looking for number 5.
Of the 4 they traded away, if you could honestly say that one of them was going to be an MVP, likely MVP candidate, or at least a strong MVP. I don't know if Christian Yelich would have been the first one I would have chosen. Oh, they go MVP. Oh, Stanton. Why not? Must have crushed it.
For sure.
Must have crushed it in New York.
This ball out to center field. The Shields was shallow, and that was a good idea. 1 out. Well, the final opening day at Globe Life Park. It's on the schedule. Cubs and Rangers in 2019 on March 28th. Become a 2019 season ticket holder today. Guarantee your opening day tickets. Full and half season ticket plans on sale now at TexasRangers.com/seasons. Heredia singled in the 3rd inning, and he takes a strike. He was in doubled off on a great defensive play made by Ronald Guzman down at first. 1-1 the count. Now the Rangers and Mariners, they have played 13 games so far this year head-to-head. And for the Rangers, especially when you talk about in division, that's a team against whom they have a winning record. And they can't say that about many teams in this division. Pop up down the right field line is out of play. Rangers 7-6 against Seattle, and after this series, which will conclude tomorrow, they will finish the year with 4 against the Mariners in Seattle. But against Oakland, 6-13. They have 3 more against the Angels, and they're currently 6-10 against the Angels, and they long finished with Houston. 1-7, lost 12 against the Astros. One time asked for by Heredia. Seattle had great designs of making some noise in the division this year. Maybe challenging for a division title, or at the very least a wild card, and they got off to a great start. Heredia lifts this one out into shallow left field, and Gallo puts it away. 2 gone. So it was a fantastic start to the season for Seattle. 55-31, averaging almost 4.5 runs per game. But then things turned sour. They're 29-38 since then, and the offensive production down quite a bit, and they have slipped out of the race. 8.5 games back of Oakland.
They got aggressive early, right, with the addition of Alex Colomé early in their bullpen. Oh wow, was that like a May trade? Wasn't it a very unusual trade to see? And it started, not that it started that trend. The trend of adding closers to fill other roles in your bullpen is certainly not new. But it was a sign that they felt like they were going to be in this thing, and they wanted to get their hands on a good reliever that was going to be available. And that was a good indication to their fan base that they were expected to make a run, and they just went the other way for them. And you saw the offensive struggles. They're not the only ones. The Phillies really limping these last couple of months. Thought they might have had a chance at the postseason, and that's why we go wire to wire, and that's why there are so few Cinderella stories in our game. It's tough to do over the course of a full 162 game season to be somewhat of an upset team. You need some help. The Braves got some help from a bad Washington Nationals team. They locked up their division today. And they're somewhat of they're definitely a surprise and maybe somewhat of a Cinderella story, but they played well, and other teams in their division did not.
This one smashed by third, and Haniger is on. Now Cruz around to second base and has a 2-out double. Oh, Haniger's first hit of the night. And he is in scoring position.
This is a good rip here by Mitch Haniger, as we're going to see Mike Minor trying to go in, and he got that ball in off the plate. So you credit your hitter, and was able to get those hands in and hit that ball as hard as he did, keeping it fair on a pitch that was that far inside from a left-handed pitcher to a right-handed hitter. Not easy to do. So for Mike Minor, who has been throwing the ball really well tonight, still unable to have that 1-2-3 inning. Had a chance there with 2 outs and nobody on. So the pitch count will jump up to 82 after this pitch to Gene Segura.
Segura 0 for 1 with a walk. On our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look.
It's ringing. Phone's ringing.
Alex Claudio getting ready out there. His 3rd time through the order now for Minor. That one buried. 2-0.
And for Mike Minor, the numbers definitely start to jump. Excellent first time through at 206. 242 that second time through, and then the batting average against is 272 that 3rd time through the order.
He's got Haniger out at second base with a double. For Haniger now an 11-game hitting streak with that 2-base hit. He has been really good, especially since taking over in that leadoff spot. 3 balls, no strikes to Segura. And that one in there. Minor, the other thing to keep in mind, and we haven't talked about it much tonight, he came in with 152 1/3 innings pitched this season. And this is first year transitioning back into a starting role. Just misses. That's ball 4. Second walk tonight. And he might be tiring just a little bit.
Yeah, this one just missed, and I think the fatigue factor likely starting to set in a little bit for Mike Minor. And you mentioned the innings total, and you start to look at what he has done over his last, I guess it's what, 7 starts. He hasn't seen a pitch count higher than 91, right? So they've kept an eye on him, and understandably so. He's been up over 100 3 times this year, and he's been into the upper 90s multiple times this year. But lately, the Rangers being a little bit more careful, and understandably so. That pitch range has been anywhere from 73 to 91 over his last 8 starts. And so they're thrilled that he's been pitching as well as he has this deep into the season, right? That was something they wanted to keep an eye on, and you see the pitch count by inning so far for him tonight. And so Mike Minor probably has 1 chance, maybe 2 if it gets to that point, to get out of this 5th inning. But at 86 pitches, I think, based on what we've seen recently, that's probably about the range, not much higher than that they would like to see from him this late in the season, first year back in the rotation.
His last start at San Diego went 6 1/3 innings on 87 pitches. He just seemed to be breezing through that one. This one's been a little harder tonight. I mean, he's had to work with each inning to the tune of at least 13 pitches an inning. You just saw the inning by inning count.
These are the big tests, and we've seen Mike Minor pass these pretty well right now, right? Digging in against a really good hitter in Robinson Cano, hitting .293 against lefties coming into this one tonight.
1-1 to count. But as we had mentioned earlier tonight, Cano really has never had much success against Minor. He has a hit tonight, though, just the 2nd in his career in 15 at bats. So it's a good matchup for Mike, and one he needs to win right here to get through these 5 innings in a scoreless game. Two and one. Last year, 77 innings as a reliever for Minor. And so there are all sorts of ways that teams look at these things. You want to be careful about just how far you stretch that workload in successive seasons. And from spring training forward, that was a primary concern in his usage. 2-1. This ball hit well to center field. Way back on that one is DeShields, and it is gone. So Cano with a 3-run homer. Mariners score the first runs of the game tonight. 9th home run of the year for Robinson Cano, and that may do it for Minor.
Mentioned, of course, Cano, what a great hitter he's been over the course of his career, but this year, especially against lefties. And we know he missed some time, but still swinging a good bat against left-handed pitching. And he gets himself in a favorable 2-1 count. And not a bad fastball for Mike Minor, but for Robinson Cano in that spot. Certainly hunting that fastball, and pretty amazing to see how quickly that top hand gets off the bat, and he's still able to get this much carry out to center field.
He will stay in there against Nelson Cruz, and this is very high with ball 1.
So this is one of the toughest parts of managing. You have a guy that is throwing the ball well, a guy that you're really counting on for next year. You know what a competitor Mike Minor is. You know he wants that opportunity. The easy thing certainly would be to take him out after that left-on-left home run. Don Wakamatsu is going to give him another opportunity here. As you see pitch number 92 coming across. And when you pull for your guys so much, it's so tough to get them out of there when you know they want to compete. So maybe Mike Minor finds a way to get through Nelson Cruz, but I can't imagine we'd see much more than that.
Cruz 1 for 2. Swing and a miss. That'll even things up. So Minor a strike away from getting out of the inning, but it's a 30-pitch inning for Minor. That is with his next offering. A 2-out double, a walk to Segura, the Cano home run. Now the 2-2.
Only one fastball so far in this at bat of the 5 pitches that Nelson Cruz has seen.
And that one just a little tight, so he will walk, and that's the 3rd walk tonight, and Wakamatsu left with no choice. So that will do it for Mike Minor. A walk to Cruz. The final straw. 4 2/3 tonight. Couldn't quite finish off this 5th. Our who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Mike Minor, the man who is out, is short of getting through 5, his last home start of the year. And the man who's in, here comes Alex Claudio. Done right. Still working here with the 5th inning, 3-0. The Mariners with the lead. And a chance to add to that lead here. Take your Rangers fandom to the next level and own a piece of the game. See how you can get everything from game-used baseballs to bases, as well as autographed memorabilia. Go to TexasRangers.com/authentics. All right, Claudio appearing for the 63rd time this year.
39 strikeouts to 12 walks. Good ratio there for Alex Claudio. It's the sinker changeup slider combination that you will see from this Rangers left-hander. That low arm angle, really good movement, nothing straight. None of the pitches from Alex Claudio, everything moving.
First one in there for a strike to Healy, who doubled back in the second inning. Swing and a miss. Count 0-2. That one at 73 miles per hour, and Healy was way out in front of it. Claudio was in the game last night, got the double play when the skies opened, and we went into a rain delay. Eventually the game called. There's a pitch on the way. That one looped out to left field. They're going to hang up there a little bit. Gallo, plenty of time to get back on it, and the inning is done. A 3-run fifth inning, though, for the Mariners. So they take the first lead of the night. Halfway there, 3-0 Seattle. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Yeah, ends up being a beautiful night tonight. 3-0 Seattle with the lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Temperatures were in the low 70s, dipped down now into the upper 60s. Some sprinkles on and off tonight. Nothing too bad here at the ballpark. And Rougned Odor takes strike one to start things in the fifth. It'll be Odor, Kiner Falefa, and Joey Gallo.
See that pitch count at just 49 so far from the left-hander Gonzalez, and certainly would be a good time for the Rangers to put some good at-bats together.
Will pop up near third base, and Seager in foul territory puts it away. One out here in the fifth. Okay, one gone. Gives us time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in on John Radigan. All right, thank you, John. And yeah, it's a great wild card race. There you see it. Diamondbacks all but out of it. Rockies still very much alive. There's a strike to Kiner Falefa, the count 0-2. There's a soft liner down to first base. Healy positioned well, and there are two gone.
Just 5 pitches so far in this inning for Gonzalez to record 2 outs. It's tough to do, though, as much as you'd like to see that pitch count get a little bit higher. He's thrown all strikes. What are you going to do?
Look at that. Well, they've broken a sweat since that first inning. Leadoff walk to Profar, and since then has faced the minimum. He did give up a single to DeShields, but erased him with a double play.
He's been a strike thrower all season long. We've seen it tonight. Now 6 for 6 in this inning. 65% strikes tonight, but on the season, 68%. It's about 5% above league average. That is significant. You see the totals there. Note the 54 pitches for Marco Gonzalez up to this point.
Gallo takes wide. 1-1. Gonzalez is, had some good runs and some less good runs. You could call him streaky. Just 26 years old. He was a good collegiate player. Went to Gonzaga. There's this ball blasted high in the air out to right field. Back near the bullpen, though. Haniger, and he'll make the catch. And Gallo just got underneath that one. A 9-pitch 5th inning for Marco Gonzalez. Joey Gallo takes some big cuts. Sometimes just misses. 3-0. MLB at bat. It's your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to take advantage of all the great features, specifically those like the MLB.TV game of the day. Download MLB at bat today. All right, so Claudio finished up that 5th inning. He goes to work for a clean 6th. And he misses low to Kyle Seager.
So this is how the game ended yesterday. That rain delay came down. Alex Claudio on the mound. Kyle Seager at the plate, down a 1-2 count. Like, just one more. Like, shot it down, got everybody off the field, and then the skies just opened up.
Bouncer right side, and that is Andrews over from shortstop to make the play. 1 out. So here's Mike Zunino. Before he bats, so let's pause for a moment. Check in with the people over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Okay, one gone. Zunino with a strikeout and a flyout. And he goes after the first pitch. This one sent up into the seats. Zunino now 19 home runs for the year. So the power numbers have been there for him. Last year had a career best 23 home runs, slugged over 500. First round pick back in the day out of Florida, and he hits this one high in the air out to left field. Gallo and DeShields converging near the wall, and that one is gone. Just enough to get into that Mariners bullpen in left. A solo shot, number 20 on the year for Zunino, and it's 4-0.
Mike Zunino's got some power. We just showed you those numbers. He's been able to hit the ball out of the ballpark despite the fact that the batting average has not been what he would like it to be, and he gets this pitch up from Alex Claudio. Look at the glove of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. They were trying to go in with that two-seam fastball and maybe even a little bit elevated, but it caught a little bit too much plate. You see it there at 108 miles per hour off the bat and a projected distance of 391 feet.
How about that? Last 8 games is it 5 home runs off left-handed pitchers.
So you probably said, oh yeah, those numbers, even though that batting average is down 197 coming into this one, he's probably doing pretty good against lefties. Nope, 161 against lefties, so that's pretty surprising. And those 5 home runs in his last 8 games are the only 5 he has against lefties this year.
Little chopper back over the mound, and Odor charges and flips it over to first in time to get D. Gordon. You can't take your time on those with D. Gordon moving down the line, 2 away. So now the 9th place hitter, Guillermo Heredia. Well, with the Mariners now having scored 4 runs in this one tonight, that's been a little bit of a magical number for them. Heredia takes inside for ball 1. The Mariners, when they've scored at least 4 runs this year, 61 wins, 19 losses. Usually Scott Service has been able to find enough pitching to make 4 runs stand up. 2-0 the count. Whereas when they get 3 runs or fewer, not so good. 23 and 50.
There's that good changeup from Alex Claudio, and we talked about this earlier with Mike Minor, your ability to throw that changeup when you're behind in the count. You don't just give in with a fastball, especially for a left-handed pitcher. And we know Alex is not afraid to throw that changeup and can throw it for a strike anytime in the count.
Little tapper back to the mound. Claudio fields his position well, takes care of Heredia to end the inning, but a home run by Zunino makes it 4-0. We return. Ronald Guzman will lead things off for the Rangers. Delano DeShields will bat second, and then it's back to the top. Jurickson Profar. Rangers offense tries to get going.
Globe Life Park in Arlington. It is Hispanic Heritage Night here at the ballpark. That is Ballet Folklorico performing before the game. And then also before the game, the guys wearing these t-shirts for batting practice. It was indoors today, so we didn't get to see them up close and personal, so I got my hands on one that has the Ponle Acento, to put the accent back in baseball. And you know, it means a lot to the Hispanic Heritage guys to have the accent put back in their names. They feel like it represents, you know, part of their heritage, their country, and so Major League Baseball does this every year to kind of try to raise awareness for that. And to be quite honest with you guys, I need to do a better job of it when I'm tweeting, doing whatever like that stuff. I feel like I should probably do a better job. So note to self and to both of you.
So it's funny that you bring that up today, because I didn't do it all the way through my scorecard, because sometimes, as picky as I am with the font that I use to type with, if I try to put the accent on, it wants to do it in a different font, and you know me well enough by now, that's not going to sit well with my brain.
Nope.
So then it's out in that spot. But today, for whatever reason, I only did it. I wanted to try it to see if it worked over the O, and I wasn't even aware of what was going on. I said, I want to make sure I get this right, and so I did the accent over the O for Robinson Cano, and it worked.
Little roller left side of the infield. Seager, no accent, throws out Guzman. On away. Yeah, it's not easy.
No.
I mean, it takes, I don't know, I mean, I shouldn't say it's not easy. I suppose it is easy. You just have to
take some effort,
figure out the keystrokes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's depending on what kind of computer you use, all you gotta do is hold the key down. Did you know that? And it'll give you all the options.
Oh, I did not know that.
So you got like a thing where go hold an N down right now, and you're going to see, you know, a bunch of different options as far as what you want to type.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Now you know. A's got quite a few options. I don't even know what they all are. Check out A.
Ooh.
That's 8 different options. What's that AE?
Gaelic or something.
Is number 7 the infinity sign above the A? A lot of different options, but yeah, no, I think it's great. And baseball does do a nice job of giving us the pronunciation guide and the presentation guide as far as how players specifically want to have their names presented. And then you get, I've had this happen, when people get mad at us. I'm like, no, this is the way Adrian wants it, or whatever. This is what he said. No, that's wrong. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take Adrian's word over yours, Twitter guy.
I'm getting a Twitter fight right now. Time for that later. Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't realize that whole thing about holding up. So it's easy. It's not hard. It's easy. The 1-2 to Shields. 2-2. Now Gonzalez has been pretty dialed in tonight. So now just 2 Rangers base runners, only the 1 hit, and it's by the man at the plate right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We've seen this a little bit lately where the offense just goes AWOL. One is outside. It's a full count.
What the Rangers are dealing with tonight is a crafty lefty in Gonzalez who's hitting spots. He's changing speeds. We showed you his pitch arsenal at the beginning of the game, and things were split up pretty evenly between his 4 pitches: 2-seamer, cutter, curveball, and changeup. And so he can really throttle, meaning he can go from hard to soft, and he's been doing it tonight just like he has all season, and really hitting spots and staying out of the middle of the plate.
Now full count on to Shields. 1 out here in the 6th inning. I think about getting into their bullpen, but the reality is he hasn't hit 70 pitches yet tonight. The payoff on the way, and Delino spoils another one. So he's working him here.
Another great play. Over the railing, reaching down, full extension, picked it clean.
Oh, there it goes.
Was that a kid or an adult?
That was the kid.
Oh, it was, okay.
Poor thing. Because you know the reaction is usually pretty swift from mom or dad. And it's an innocent little mistake.
Have baseball, will throw. This is the ball. What do you do with the ball? You throw a ball. That's what we do all the time.
Everybody else is doing. I keep looking down on the field and they take the ball and they throw it. Mom and Dad, God bless them, they're laughing.
Like we said, every foul ball tells a story. And when balls randomly come from a deck above, that also is a story. I don't know what happened. I was just sitting there and
the sky is falling.
Now I have a baseball.
Well, Delino, this will be the 10th pitch of this at bat. For whatever reason, he's a real pest for Gonzalez. 3-2 on the way. There's a swing and a miss. And Marco Gonzalez strikes him out, 2 away. Only the second strikeout tonight for Gonzalez. Here comes Jurickson Profar. Walked in the first inning. Rolled into a double play in the third.
So he's only faced, what, 1 over the minimum up to this point. You mentioned that walk. The Rangers' base hit was erased with a double play. He's got a chance here if he can get Profar out to have 5 innings in which he has only faced 3 hitters. The Rangers on the flip side, on the pitching side, have not had an inning in which they have faced only 3 hitters.
Then the question becomes, how far do they want to take Gonzalez in this one tonight? Because certainly right now it would appear that he could dictate that and go really deep. I mean, he has gone 6 or more innings in a vast majority. 16 of his last 23 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings. Although recently he's had some bumps.
Well, he had a Maddox earlier this year. Right, less than 100 pitches, complete game. It was against the Kansas City Royals. He threw 96 pitches in those 9 innings. Did not walk a hitter. That was back on June 29th.
Went 7 shutout in Anaheim against the Angels on July 11th. And outside 2-2. And of those 7 innings in that game in July, he only used 82 pitches. It's one of those kinds of nights here tonight, although Delino made him work in this 6th inning. 2-2. And it's a full count. And becoming a little less efficient in the 6th. It's a 20-pitch inning for him now. And easily the most he's had to work in any one inning tonight.
A lot of shaking here in a full count. Very interesting. Maybe trying to get in the head of Jurickson Profar, or he's just got a different idea than Mike Zunino. Looks like they're going to go backdoor cutter.
And they find the corner, a strike 3. And Profar down looking to end the 6th. So Marco Gonzalez continues to cruise. Off to the 7th inning now. It's 4-0 Seattle.
It's been a good game for the Mariners, but it's a bunch for the Rangers, as we have seen. The long ball here tonight, Robinson Cano with that 3-run shot, and then Mike Stanino against Alex Claudio. 6th home run he has hit against the lefty this season. So a couple of long balls is all the offense that we have so far this evening, and now the Rangers will dig into their bullpen, and it'll be their 3rd lefty of the night as C.D. Pelham. The rookie now comes on, 8th game for him. He's done the ball pretty well so far. 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, and it's a big fastball, as you see the repertoire there at the bottom. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a changeup. That fastball so far this season averaging 97 miles per hour.
An intriguing young arm. It's that first one in for a strike to Haniger. Haniger's 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored, and there's strike 2. Haniger's been one of the good stories for Seattle this year. He's played just about every inning. In fact, he's played the 5th most of any player in the American League. Off the plate, 1-2 the count. Only Marcus Semien in Oakland, Alex Bregman in Houston, Matt Olson in Oakland, and Francisco Lindor have played in more innings, in some of those cases barely more innings this year. Haniger goes down and shoots this one out into left center field. Gallo will cut it off on a slide, but Haniger to second base with a double, his 37th of the year.
Take a look at the breaking ball here from C.D. Pelham, and this one ended up staying out over the plate a little bit. In that spot, look at the glove from Isaiah Kiner-Falefa as he reaches back over the plate. What they want to do there is be able to bury that breaking ball down and in, either for a strike or just below the zone, but because it stayed over the plate, that gave Haniger an opportunity to get out in front of it and get himself that leadoff double.
So a test for Pelham now. As he contends with a little traffic. First pitch in there for a strike. Gene Segura walked a couple of times. He's also bounced back to the mound. Mariners 4 runs on 8 hits so far.
So with the leadoff double, unlikely that the Rangers can have that 1, 2, 3 inning or 3-batter inning. I mean, certainly it's possible, but more unlikely. I don't know. Am I making a bigger deal about that? Have there been games where they've never had a 1, 2, 3 inning? It is something that's sticking out a little bit. Maybe because Mike Minor was pitching so well. Just one guy was getting out. It seemed like every inning. Maybe that's just why it stuck out a little bit more.
He had the 1 3-batter inning, but it started with a base hit and a double play.
That was more of a testament to how well he was pitching, right? Somebody was getting on, and he was just not letting it turn into anything until that Robinson Cano home run.
Yeah, that was just it too. As the game stayed scoreless, and he was dealing with traffic every inning. It seemed like through 96 pitches, they were stressful, a lot of them, because oftentimes the base runner that was on in the inning was the leadoff hitter. So the inning would begin with a stressful situation. 0-2. That one fouled away. Segura stays alive. Segura's had a really nice year. 170 hits this season. That's 11th most in all of baseball. Way inside, 1-2 the count.
He's been really good in these 2-strike spots, and Gene Segura is a good hitter, so not surprising to see him do well with that 3rd best batting average in Major League Baseball once he gets to 2 strikes. Not just that he was 3rd too, but the fact that he was 80 points above league average. But he's got that short stroke impactful swing, so not surprising, I think, to see him put the ball in play and get a pretty good amount of hits with 2 strikes.
Chopper left side of the infield, backing up Andrews, so one hopper to first in time. What a nice play to get Gene Segura for the first out of the inning.
Well, a great play with the glove and an even better throw, a smart throw from Elvis Andrews. And you'll see this ground ball here. You got to play it back because of that second hop, but then you also give Ronald Guzman the nice long hop to deal with. There was nothing Elvis could do. He couldn't charge that ball anymore, and then that throw was just absolutely perfect, making it easy for Ronald Guzman to finish it on the other end.
So one away. And here is Robinson Cano. Cano with a big home run, also had the base hit earlier. Average just shy of 300 now. Pelham taking a look at his base runner. It comes to the plate. It's 1-1. We talked about it yesterday. Cano missed 80 games for that suspension from Major League Baseball for violation of the performance enhancing drug policy, and as such the numbers reflect less production in terms of power and that sort of thing. 8 home runs coming in, 42 RBIs. Those numbers both go up tonight. Eight-time All-Star. Check swing, that's fouled off for strike 2.
Well, these are those opportunities that a guy like C.D. Pelham will get in September, right? We know about the stuff and what the upside is, but now these at-bats, right, against some big names, some good left-handed hitters, certainly a guy he has heard of in Robinson Cano, and the heart rate, if you're not careful, will tick up a little bit in these spots, and so anytime he can put together a real competitive at-bat against a guy like Robinson Cano, and he's in a good spot right now, the 1-2 count. Those are the things that will stick out to the front office and to the coaching staff as they evaluate the young pitchers. And so a nice opportunity here for Pelham to see if he can find a spot to finish off Robinson Cano.
2-2.
Probably the most dangerous thing that happens to young pitchers in these spots is you give the hitter too much credit. And you look at it and you say, that's Robinson Cano. Damage, monster contract. There's a reason he has it. And you try to start to be perfect. And that's where you really can run into some trouble. And so the confidence issue, believing in yourself and not giving that hitter too much credit. Yeah, you got to recognize who he is. But don't give him too much credit and think that you have to be perfect to get him out.
Off the handle, and that one flared over third base. Gallo coming in on it, but he'll have no play on Haniger, who hustles in to score. The throw instead to second. Cano just got in there ahead of it. Maybe an RBI double. It makes it 5-0 Seattle.
Rugen Odor has asked the coaching staff to take a look. As you see, Jace Tingler now the new bench coach for the Rangers. And you see the mislocation. It was in off the plate, but they were trying to go away. Now watch Joey Gallo. That's good awareness of understanding that he might have a shot if he can get that throw in quickly. And it does appear that that right foot just got in time. Now, had Joey set his feet, he wouldn't have had time to get this throw. Even though it was a little bit off the mark, if he sets his feet, there's not going to be any play at all. Good try there by Joey Gallo.
So now Cano in scoring position for Nelson Cruz, and he takes strike 1. Cruz singled in the 4th inning, walked in the 5th. With the walk in the 5th inning is what pushed Mike Minor out of the game. 4 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, Bartolo Colon getting ready in the bullpen. So ball and 2 strikes here on Cruz, 1 out. Sidney Pelham has given up a couple of doubles and a run here. Hard throwing left-hander, the rookie. I mean, Cano just got him with that little flare. One in on Cruz. Cruz's last offseason, I think a lot of people in Seattle felt like this might be a real good year, a chance to do some exciting stuff. He invited a bunch of teammates to join him for a 3-day workout retreat at his home in Miami in the offseason. 8 guys showed up. And ended up treating him to dinners. They just tried to spend some time together, bond a little bit. Worked out with a personal trainer down in Miami. D. Gordon, one of those guys. Ryan Healy. Felix Hernandez, Paxton, some others. Very, very popular guy, whatever clubhouse he's in. And at the end of a contract with Seattle this year. It's just a little bit outside full count now. And we mentioned it last night, the Mariners are going to have quite the decision this offseason. How to handle that. Mariners, and for that matter, 29 other teams who might be interested in his services.
I think the question for the Mariners is 1, finances, and then 2, Robinson Cano, and how they want to use him next year. Oh boy.
Ooh, strike 3 called. Cruz down looking, and Pelham with a big strikeout.
That's a big moment for him right there. I know he's a little frustrated because he had the 2 doubles allowed this inning, but Nelson Cruz, you're just talking about the great year that he has had. And to be able to, and what a good hitter he still is, and to be able to get that called strike looking, that was well in the strike zone. Nice job by Isaiah, kind of enough to keep it there. But watching him, he looks a little frustrated. In the body language, you can see it. So that's one right there where you got to give yourself a little bit of credit for a job well done.
You have to deal with the next hitter, Ryan Healy. Puts that one right in there for a strike.
I think that's also important for all these young pitchers. It's one thing to get into trouble. It's another thing, as again the coaching staff will watch and evaluate. How do you do once you start to get in trouble? Where are you from a body language standpoint, confidence? Can you continue to go after big league hitters in those spots without getting tentative, without trying to be perfect, staying confident? This is a big, strong kid with a big league fastball.
It was 1-1, and that one hit hard out towards second, and Odor, great reactions, moving to his left to haul in that low liner. The inning is over. Mariners add a run on a couple of hits and leave a man. Time to stand and stretch. Time for God Bless America as well, as we turn it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise in honor of all of the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world. We invite everyone in Globe Life Park to join in singing God Bless America.
was a good night for Marco Gonzalez, the left-hander from the Seattle Mariners. The swings and misses, the contact, and the nice defense behind him as well. And he has had the Rangers hitters off balance all night tonight, hitting his spots. This night is complete, though. It's all said and done. But for Gonzalez, 6 innings, 1 hit. He did not allow any runs. He walked a batter, and he struck out 3.
I think that's plenty. He should go relax as Nick Vincent comes on for the 59th time for Seattle. He jumps right in there with a strike.
See the overall numbers there for Nick Vincent. The fastball's been averaging 90 miles an hour. He's got the cutter that sits at 88. That curveball, the changeup as well. You're a little bit higher than the batting averages might suggest. Lefties hitting just 200 against Vincent, and righties 229. He's in a situation here where he gets a clean inning, but he's really struggled with inherited runners. He's inherited 25 runners this year. 14 of them has scored. 56% of his inherited runners has scored this season.
He takes care of Anderson short order to start this 7th inning. Well, entertain your guests at Globe Life Park for a night of hospitality in a suite. Suite rentals include parking passes, a suite attendant, concierge service, and recognition on the center field video board. Go to TexasRangers.com/suites to place a deposit for a suite rental for 2019. Well, pretty good seats. Great way to enjoy a game is Nomar Mazara takes ball 1 here. 1 out, nobody on, 7th inning. Rangers with just 1 hit so far in this one. Of course, earlier in the week it was Blake Snell and the Rays who were in town. That was on Tuesday when the Rangers were held to 1 hit. Run into some decent pitching. 2-0 pitch, and that's way inside, all the way to the backstop. 3-0.
Nomar smiling a little bit after this 2-0 pitch was nowhere near the zone. Talk about getting in a hitter's count and digging in, thinking about taking that big swing on a pitch that might be left out over the plate. Well, that was anything but for Nomar.
There's ball 4. So Vincent puts a base runner on here for the Rangers. Beltré lined out and has grounded out. 0 for 2 so far here tonight. And he's playing a little banged up. In fact, it was a little late for the lineup today. We had to wait and see whether or not Beltré could go. He's been dealing with a hip pointer. And he takes the strike here from Vincent. Count 0-1. I think of David Ortiz a couple years ago, right, when he had such a great year in his farewell tour. And there are, I think, a lot of people, baseball fans in general, who watched and thought, well, there's no way he's going to walk away the way he's hitting. Beltré, by the way, with a hit right there. 1 hit tied behind his back.
Take a look at the pitch here. Good look at the changeup grip, and that one stayed up. It had some good movement in, but much higher than Nick Vincent wanted it. And Adrian Beltré laces that thing into the outfield for a base hit.
It's hard. Sometimes it's not so much about the production. It's just there's so much work that goes into it for guys like Adrian at this stage in his career, just to get himself into the lineup. Into the ballpark. The idea was to play, both for him and for the team. But it was it took a lot of work just to make sure he could get in there, and he desperately wanted to play today, wants to play tomorrow for these home fans here. But it's taking extra to get his body to answer the bell.
David Ortiz talked about that a ton, right? I mean, as far as All that he was going through with his feet and the issues and the pain that he woke up to every single day. And sometimes you couldn't tell as a fan, because once you went through all that, you're like, hey, it looks pretty good. But the process of actually getting there, it just gets to be too much. Just like we talk about the preparation for players that are facing retirement in the offseason. Are you willing to go through all that offseason training, really put the effort in that's necessary, or is it starting to wear you out a little bit? That's where you have to be honest with yourself. And those are the things that fans just don't often see.
He's out there along with Mazzara in the 2-0 pitch. This ball ripped into right field. That's a base hit. Nomar to third, and the stop sign thrown up there. And a base hit by Odor loads the bases here. And Nick Vincent, a one-out walk, and then back-to-back singles.
Rangers now in business as they get it going here. This looks like a cutter that just kind of stayed put. When he throws that cutter, it's not very far off his fastball. I mentioned it averages around 88, the fastball right around 90, so you get that four-seam real cutter. That one didn't do very much, and it leads to another base hit, so good to see the Rangers with back-to-back hits after only having one through the first 6 innings of this game.
I mean, the offense obviously slowed quite a bit by Gonzalez, but having better success against Nick Vincent. Zach Duke getting loose out of the bullpen now for the Mariners. Stottlemyre out there. Good conversation with his reliever. All right, opportunity here for the Rangers, down 5-0. With the bases loaded. Mazzara, Beltré, and Odor for Kiner Falefa. And Isaiah fouls that one away. Strike one. At a very early part of the season, the Rangers, as a group, struggled with runners in scoring position, bases loaded. Those types of splits were not very good. But then all of a sudden they turned the corner, and they've had very good numbers since then. In the dirt, 1-1 the count.
Difference for Nick Vincent this year with nobody on base. And opponents averaging just 169. But once runners get on, he has had some issues that have hit over 300 against him. 307, 859 OPS. Runners on base and scoring position, it gets even better. 333 batting average. Good time here. The Rangers got to find a way to cash this in.
Fouled away, 1-2 on Kiner Falefa. The Rangers have 4 grand slams this year. With the bases loaded and less than 2 out, the Rangers are hitting .283 as a team. They have done really well in these spots.
Was it Chu, Guzman, and the other 2 grand slams?
Odor had one. And Elvis. This one up the middle. And could be 2. The flip to second one. Cano with the turn. Double play. And wow, just like that, the inning is done. So the Rangers were on the cusp. Instead, we go to the 8th inning with the Mariners on top 5-0. Click it or ticket, day and night. 7 innings in the books tonight, and the Mariners with a 5-0 lead. They have scored in each of the last 3 innings. And they will send the 6, 7, and 8 batters here in the 8th against Bartolo Colon, the veteran right-hander, on here in the 8th inning, in relief for one of the few times this year the Rangers have used. I want to say 4 times now as a reliever.
Yeah, it's been a fun year having Bartolo Colon here this season, and he certainly has provided the Rangers with some much-needed innings. You see him there, 145 2/3 on the year, and put together some pretty good starts this season for the club. And there's been some personal history for Bartolo, and as much as we talk about Adrian, all those questions, we know Bartolo would like to continue to play. Whenever you got a guy that's 45 years old and you get toward the end of the season, you just never know if it'll be that last opportunity for you to see him in a Ranger uniform at home.
This one lined out to right field, a base hit, and it scoots past Mazzara. Seager into second. He's running hard, heads to third. Mazzara just now getting to the baseball out there. And now the throw comes back in and misses the cutoff man, but Seager will hold at third. Yikes.
This was a tough play for Nomar Mazzara. He came in and ended up playing it on the short hop. First of all, the way the outfield is aligned, we don't see this too often. Look where Odor is, look where Mazzara is. And so he tried to catch it on the short hop. Remember how much it's rained here, and chances are the ball's not going to bounce as high as you think it's going. Look how high his glove is. Actually, I take that back. It went the other way. Bounced higher than his glove. Watch it right there. Just kind of missed by Nomar Mazzara, and it's going to be ruled a triple.
Now a pop-up in the short center field, and the Shield's able to get to it. One away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back again to John Radigan.
That's not the way I thought it would have ended. Infield hit.
No. D. Gordon, speaking of surprises, that ball belted to right field. A 2-run homer for D. Gordon, just his 3rd round tripper this year. And that adds 2 more to the tally. 7-0 Mariners.
You're right, you don't see it too often. Just the 14th of his career, and this is his 8th season in the big leagues, and home runs are not something that D. Gordon does very often. He routinely hits more triples than he does home runs in a season. Bartolo Colon knew it. There's that 2-seam fastball, the front door. Didn't quite get that good finish that we usually see from Bartolo Colon on that pitch, and every once in a while D. Gordon will run into one. 4 is his career high in a season.
Bring some happiness into that dugout. Heredia races one out to right field. And so he is on. I got a question for you. Listen, things slip past me on occasion, but I don't remember that tattoo on the left arm of Bartolo Colon. Was I missing this all summer? Was he wearing sleeves? I don't
know. That's a great question.
I mean, that looks really new to me.
I'm trying to think of had he been wearing sleeves all year.
I don't think so. I mean, that's not a...
It's not subtle.
Yeah, you're not dipping your toe in the waters with that one. I mean... One strike pitch. This one bounced into left field. And so Haniger with his 3rd hit of the ball game. And some activity now. Zach Curtis getting ready out of the bullpen. Doug Brocail will trot out there real quick, maybe buy a little time, and check in on Bartolo.
And Doug's asking him the same question you were wondering.
Yeah. Hey, where did that come from? What are those temporary tattoos called when we were kids?
Hemp?
No, those ones you get like in the Cracker Jack.
Oh.
Just
temporary tattoos. I mean, you can get those hemp tattoos, right? Is that right? That are temporary? I think I'm saying that right.
No, maybe. I'm not real sure. Tell me just a little bit more.
Henna, that's the one. I'm sorry. Henna
Henna.
tattoos. Hemp is what marijuana. It's yeah, my bad. Maybe it's the hemp that leads you to getting the henna tattoo. That's what it is. Sorry. Not experienced in that area. Don't know what I'm talking about.
We've got some explaining to do. Fouled away by Segura. Oh, there we go. Now that's August.
It's not Photoshop, is it?
I don't think so.
Whiting it out. Whoa. Good observation, Dave Raymond.
Well, it's hard to miss.
Any ink for Dave Raymond?
No, not
yet.
None. No. Ball rip foul. Ball girls so good down there, even with the parka on, able to make a nice clean play. One out here, and Bartolo could really use a ground ball. One and two the count. Now Bartolo taken out of the rotation and now only used sparingly out of the bullpen. And he has not had a lot of success the last couple of times out. Segura with a couple of walks and a run scored. He is the only Mariner so far tonight, though, without a base hit. And sends this one out to center field, right to the line to Shields, 2 away. Here comes Don Wakamatsu. So after that out, that will be all for Bartolo Colon. And likely the last time he walks off the field in a Rangers uniform here at home. 7-0 Mariners lead. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. $7-0. Mariners leading the Rangers. And Zach Curtis coming on here in the 8th inning.
12th game of the season. You see the strikeouts and walks, and that's been the issue for Zach Curtis so far in his 13 innings between his time in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, now here with the Texas Rangers. Fastball for Zach Curtis will average 92 miles per hour, and he'll also throw the slider. He's got the changeup as well. It's a firm changeup. He's been averaging 89 this year.
I'm trying to move this thing to the bottom of the 8th inning. 7-0 Seattle on top. Finds a corner. 1-1 to Robinson Cano. Cano a triple away from the cycle. Does that intrigue you at all?
This is what intrigued me.
It is a triple away from the cycle.
Oh.
I'm going to say no based on the response.
Yeah. I get more excited about the reality if the triple's already done. I get more excited when the odds are a little bit higher.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just, Robinson Cano's the kind of guy that he hits the ball into the gap, deep gap here, saying right center field. He's probably going to pull up at second base. Right? I mean,
He's got to know, though, right?
Don't you know?
I'm guessing. He doesn't. Now he does not have a triple this year. 3-1 the count.
Due to lack of interest, I think. Is
right. I mean, so it goes back to my thing. I think the cycle, nice. It's whatever, but.
No, I don't. He probably doesn't care that much. With that being said, I'm not saying he's not going to hustle. He hits a ball in the gap, but Robinson Cano has this body language to him that if you misread it, would make you think that it's it's a little casual. That's how he's always played the game, and he's been a great player over the years. I told you that story. I played with him in the minor leagues before he ever got to the big leagues in AAA, and I remember kind of watching, and that's one of the things that stuck out. Yeah, he's a pretty good player, but boy, the body language seems kind of casual for a minor leaguer who hasn't been in the big leagues yet. And I said, I don't think that's going to fly. Boy, was I wrong.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. 3-1. Just misses. That's a Cano takes the walk. Well, the bases are loaded now. And we'll get a pinch runner for Robinson Cano. So Beckham comes on here and will take over at first base. Cano will get the rest of the night off. And Cruz takes off the plate, ball 1. Minor went 4 2/3 today. Just ran out of gas a little bit there at the end in the 5th inning. 2 outs, a double, a walk, then a home run. And then it was a walk to this guy, Nelson Cruz, that chased him from the game officially. Claudio, C.D. Pelham, Bartolo Colon, and now Zach Curtis. It's been a bit of a struggle for them since Minor's exit. 1-1 pitch. And there's strike 2. Tomorrow, Martin Perez will have the start for the Rangers, back into the rotation, and he'll make 2 starts tomorrow and then in the weekend series in Seattle next week in the final weekend of the season. Two and two. We're going to head at the next 3 games for the Rangers. Wrap up the home schedule tomorrow against Seattle. Pregame will start at 1:30 here on Fox Sports Southwest. And then it's out to the West Coast to run out the rest of the season. 3 games in Los Angeles against the Angels starting Monday night. 2-2. And it's a full count.
Tough spot here right now for Zach Curtis. He had gotten ahead in the count 1-2 and couldn't execute the pitch that he wanted to try to finish off Nelson Cruz. And so now you're in a really difficult spot. You got 2 outs, you got runners on the move, and a pretty good right-handed hitter. You got to deliver in the zone, but it's got to be a quality pitch too.
Runners take off, and this one fouled away.
That's what's really frustrating about being a big league pitcher. He did exactly that. Pretty good 92-mile-an-hour fastball down on the way, and Nelson Cruz just fouls it off. So you got to do it again.
Ready up. Haniger and Beckham, the runners. There they go. And a bouncer up the middle, and that one is through a base hit. Already is in. Haniger right behind him. And Beckham will stop at third base. A 2-run single by Nelson Cruz. And it's now 9-0.
Mentioned having to go at Cruz in this spot, and it was another fastball from Zach Curtis. And Nelson Cruz, I thought maybe we would see him kind of get big with his swing and try to do some damage, but instead he took a pretty controlled swing and hit that hard ground ball right back up the middle, and he picks up a couple of more RBIs.
So Healy now the 9th batter of the inning for Seattle. Curtis misses up and away with ball 1. Doubled his first time up. Since then has popped up, lined out. He is also flat out to left field. It's 1-1. Curtis, the 4th reliever of the night tonight for the Rangers. Both these teams deep benches, deep bullpens in this month of September. Oh, this one gets away, and coming in to score Beckham. That'll be a wild pitch. Cruz goes to second base. Oh, 5-run inning now. Well, that strikeout ends the inning, but a 5-run 8th inning for Seattle. They lead 10-0. Rangers running out of time. 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, the final season here at Globe Life Park next year, 2019. Full and half season tickets available now. As a 2019 season ticket holder, you'll secure your place in line for season tickets in the brand spanking new Globe Life Field, which opens in 2020. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com/seasons or call 972-RANGERS for more information. Only one more year in this beautiful ballpark. And only one more game in this ballpark this season, and that's tomorrow. Zach Duke goes right after Joey Gallo to start this 8th inning. Gallo 0 for 2. Duke making his 68th appearance.
Of course, he started with the Minnesota Twins, now here with the Seattle Mariners, and Duke is a guy who is converted to a reliever these past few years. He came up through the Pittsburgh Pirates system as a starter. He's now lowered that arm angle, extended that career, as most lefties have that opportunity to do if you can figure it out. And he certainly has over the years.
All right, some changes defensively. Gamble, the new right fielder. In the middle of the infielder, rather the middle of the infield now, Negron and Beckham at short and second base. Romine taking over at third. It might not have made quite as much sense looking at the StatCast because they're in a shift against Joey Gallo. Three-one pitch, and Joey got underneath this one. Way up in the air out there to center field, and D. Gordon puts it away. He brings up Ronald Guzman. Rangers had 2 hits last inning. In fact, had the bases loaded with 1 out. At the time, it was a 5-0 game. But Isaiah Kiner-Falefa bounced into a double play, and just like that, that inning disappeared.
That was a big change, right, between that opportunity to get some runs on the board. It doesn't happen. And then to give up 5 the following inning, and that kind of changed things pretty dramatically here for the Rangers. They had a shot down 5, certainly something they could overcome, but it'd be a little bit more tougher now. Just 5 outs left and 10 runs down.
One to Guzman, and a breaking ball in there for strike 2. The Mariners are one of just 2 major league teams this year with a perfect record when leading after 8 innings. They're 73-0 this year when leading after 8. Oakland 76-0. They have had a lockdown into the bullpen. Edwin Diaz is closing in on some major league records. Already has, I believe, 1 record under his belt this year. Is that one in the dirt? And it's a full count to Guzman. Edwin Diaz won't be needed tonight in a 10-run game. But their closer has 56 saves. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Guzman strikes out. 2 out here with the 8th inning. Diaz with those 56 saves, 3rd best, I guess, regular season in Major League history for saves. Bobby Thigpen with the White Sox saved 57 back in 1990. And the all-time record, Francisco Rodriguez, had 62 saves in 2008 with the Angels.
What did you say Diaz has right now?
56.
Running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, they need to play some more close games, and they've done so much of that this year. But this one is a rather big disparity, not likely to be one where he would get involved. 1-1 to Delano DeShields. big swing and a miss. Last year, the Mariners bullpen blew 26 saves. And no team in baseball last year blew more saves than the Seattle Mariners. I mean, they were a bit of a disaster. And this year, Edwin, sitting down there far left of your screen, has been so good for them.
Felix Hernandez down there. You saw him all the way to the right. But you're right, Diaz has been really special in that role. Good arm, guy who came through their system as a starter, converted to a reliever, and that was probably a really good decision.
Now back, and Shields stays alive. So Edwin Diaz, those 56 saves, 27 of them have been in one-run games. That, I believe, is a major league record. Chopper by the mound towards second. And that's a slow developing play, but Beckham able to throw out Delano to Shields to win another 1-2-3 inning. Well, the 9th inning will be next. This one right now, all Mariners.
See the Mariners leading 10-0, and it was D. Gordon coming up big for D. Gordon, because you just don't see this very often. Gordon with his 3rd home run of the season, just the 14th of his career. Keeping a straight face there, at least for a little while, until he got into that dugout. There, the smile started across his home plate. So a nice night for D. Gordon, something he doesn't get to do very often.
Gone 9th inning now. Andrew Romine in his first at bat of the day. Hanser Alberto, the new shortstop for the Rangers. Drew Robinson, the new left fielder, and Carlos Tocci, the new right fielder. A couple of changes for the Rangers. And Romine fouls that one away. The count 0-2. .202 average for Romine. Took over at 3rd last inning. And he swings and misses, so a strikeout. Starts the 9th.
Good job by Zach Curtis after a rough inning previously. It's now back-to-back strikeouts. He struck out Ryan Healy looking to finish off the 8th inning, and he starts off the 9th here with a strikeout.
To Mike Zunino, a little high. 2 balls, no strikes. So Curtis came on at the final out of the 8th after allowing a walk and a 2-run single. Now back-to-back strikeouts for the left-hander. His 2-0 pitch. There's a swing and a miss. Minor 4 2/3 today. Now it's Claudio an inning and a third. Pelham 1 inning. Everybody who has pitched in the game tonight for the Rangers has allowed at least 1 run. Tough day 2 for Don Wakamatsu as the interim manager. Yesterday, just a wild affair with the weather and whatnot. The game getting cut short, but the Rangers played a nice ball game, winning that one 8-3. Well, Texas high school football is in full swing, as you know, and Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football, brings you the most comprehensive coverage of Texas high school football anywhere. Join us at 8 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest Plus or live stream on Fox Sports Go every Friday night. Zanino aboard in the pitch to Maben, pinch hitting here. This is for ball 1. That's way inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Another miss way in. Maben getting a shot here as a pinch hitter. And again, both these teams very, very deep. Maben, as a Mariner, hitting just .210. And that last walk there, that's going to do it, perhaps. Well, maybe not. Doug Brocail jogging out there to have a word with Curtis. Jose Leclerc has been warming up in the bullpen. I would assume they'd rather not use him in a blowout game.
No, and I got to imagine for Jose Leclerc, this is maybe just about getting some work. He has not pitched since September 15th. So whether or not he actually gets in this game or is just throwing a bullpen, it has been 6 days off for Jose Leclerc. That is much more than your average reliever would want to have. Now you get in these situations where he could be getting up and just getting hot on his own, or at the same time you start to do that and they might ask you to come in and just kind of finish off the inning, possibly. I told you that story. I did that twice in my career where I got up on my own just to get some work in, knowing that there was an outside chance that I could actually get in the game based on how my manager, Larry Durker at the time, ran his ball club. He was an instinct guy. I remember one time I was throwing down there just getting a little work, the old Astrodome, and the inning started getting out of hand. It was kind of a blowout game, and I saw him peek his head out the dugout. That's where you could see down to the bullpen because they were right there down the lines. And he was like, "Is CJ ready?" I'm like, "No, just put him in." Even though I was just down there just getting work. Like,
lift your cap up.
I hadn't thrown it in a few days. They called down. I'm like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "Yeah." They called down, phone rang. "Hey, are you ready?" "I can be." Let's just go in the game.
That strikes me as quite unusual.
But my favorite part, Larry Durker was such a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a player's manager and just easy to talk to, which is really the trend now. My favorite thing that ever happened with him was, National League, you got to do that double switch, right? And it's really important that you go to the umpire first to make a double switch. Then you go take your pitcher out, right? Well, Jose Lima's pitching, and they're going to do a double switch. Larry Durker comes out, talks to the umpire, turns around, walks right back in the dugout. I have to come in the game. I take the ball from Jose Lima.
Now this one out to the gap in left center field. Round third base, heading to the plate, Zanino. Maben will be stopped. Ready with the RBI double, and it's 11-0.
Delgado turns to me, hands me the ball. It's a nice job. Did a good job today. Get out of here. the manager wasn't there to take the pitcher out of the game. He went back in the dugout. Oh. He's looking at me like, what are you doing here? I'm like, you're done. Good job today.
Do love Larry Dierker.
He's a good man.
That's like a little league move, though, getting ready out in the bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, kind of. It's like the backup quarterback. And I used to do this all the time. I'd start throwing on the sideline all the time. Like, you know, I'm ready if you need me. This guy, you know, obviously, you need me. Just a little nonverbal suggestion. Even that couldn't convince a high school coach. Oh, big swing and a miss. 1-1 to count. Gamble at 276 for the year, and he came in defensively last inning in right field, his first at bat of the night. Curtis closing in on 40 pitches for the evening. Second and third, only one out. In the air, out to left field. And Robinson there to make the catch. Tagging at third, Maben. And he will score. Sacked fly for Gamble. That makes it 12-0. And Don Wakamatsu heads out to the hill. So, as you were suggesting, maybe an opportunity now just to get Leclerc in there, get a little work. His job will be to get one out, and Curtis done tonight. 12-0 Mariners lead. New pitcher coming on. New network home of Thursday night football. And the schedule, well, it is loaded. One huge matchup after another. Thursday night football coming to Fox. And it is not Jose Leclerc coming in to get the one out. Instead, Eddie Butler has been summoned from the bullpen.
Yeah, with the Cubs and now the Texas Rangers, game number 27 for him. And without a doubt for Jose Leclerc, that was just getting some work because he has not pitched now in what will be a week. So trying to stay sharp, but Eddie Butler will be tasked with trying to finish things off here.
He gets strike one on the foul ball. Christopher Negron, and Christopher with a K. Not a PH. He's got a lot going on there.
You know me, I'm a CH. That's fine. Oh, definitely looks way cooler.
You show me something if it was KHRIPH. No, I guess TOPH anyway. 1 strike pitch. That would be inside in the count 1-1. 12-0 Mariners. Last time they scored double digits was June 22nd. A game at Fenway Park nearly 80 games ago. 1-1, and that one into center field, a base hit. Already around third, he'll score. And so Negron picks up an RBI here. Negron batting in the he took over for Segura, and so batting in that second spot of the order. Segura was the only Mariner without a hit, so kind of awesome that Negron would come in, and even off the bench he could get a hit, for crying out loud. I mean, what were you doing tonight? I've always felt like that's just got to be the worst, man. I mean, he got on a couple of times via the walk. He scored a run, hit a few balls hard, but no hits.
Oh, you're right. You see it all the time. These kind of games where the score gets out of hand, and you always see some impressive lines. Cano's 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Mitch Haniger's 3 for 5. But there's always that guy. Now, as you mentioned, a couple of walks for Gene Segura, but an 0 for 3 night.
And tight. 2-0 the count on Beckham. Beckham came in as a pinch runner and pops this one up. Out in the shallow left field. Handled by Alberto, and the inning is mercifully done. We will go to the bottom of the 9th inning. 13-0 Seattle.
The rain, but not the disaster on the scoreboard. 13-0 right now. John Radigan, Mark McLemore, Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge, what you got tonight?
Well, we're gonna discuss about this rundown. That's what we got.
He's gonna.
Doug, he got you, dude. I guess I'm gonna talk about the Ageless Wonder, keeping it going with another knock tonight. How about that?
Pudge is going line by line right through the rundown, just as he's instructed. Rangers just need a couple of touchdowns in the 9th, guys, in order to win. Back over to you.
Yeah, the window has been opened in this one, what with the Mariners missing the extra point. 13-0. And Profar trying to begin a sustained drive here. First pitch from Grimm. And this one wrapped out to right field, but tracked down by Gamble. One away.
So we're talking about going through box scores, right? You have those situations where it's a blowout. Remember that game? It was a 33-inning minor league game in Pawtucket.
Sure, yeah.
That's such a fun box score to go through. Maybe not for some of those hitters. Dallas Williams went 0 for 13 in that game. 0 for 13. Oh, I mean, that is just a beautiful thing to look through. There's an 0 for 11 in there. Cal Ripken Jr., I believe, played in that game, didn't he? He sure did. He went 2 for 13 in that game.
2 for 13?
Yeah. It was back in 1981 between the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings. 33 innings there. They stopped it after 32.
31 to 32, yeah.
And then it was over an inning later after they replayed it. Or finished it off.
High pop-up. That one handled right behind second base by Negron, and there are 2 gone.
I mean, how about throwing 10 shutout innings of relief in that game? The way that Jim Umbarger did.
Wow. 10 shutout innings in relief?
Yeah. The best part about it is, I didn't realize this, as much as Bobby Ojeda got the win. But I did not realize this. Jason Gridley's father took the loss.
Really?
Former Ranger pitcher, right? That's his dad, Steve Gridley. Yeah.
Tochi hits this ball on the ground. Third base. Romine is right there. Oh, that did not last long in the 9th inning. Rangers go 1, 2, 3, and Justin Grimm very efficiently takes care of business in the 9th inning. This one is done. 13-0, the final score tonight. Not much more to say about this one, but John Radigan, Mark McLemore, and Pudge are going to try. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Stay with us. Still more coming after this Rangers game tonight.